I'm going to analyze a real campaign from a member of Easy TV Money, and just kind of give you an idea of how some people get hung up on some of the obstacles in PPC. All right, so this is a beauty product. There's only one ad group in this campaign. So the member created the campaign on February 12, 2016. There are 91 clicks. The CTR on average is 4.85%, which is not bad. The average CPC is 21 cents, and it spent $20, right? And if you click into this ad group, you will see that all the keywords are generic keywords. So he was using the 2.0 advanced system. At this point, this campaign is not profitable. He's just wondering what went wrong. So let me tell you what went wrong and how we can make this campaign successful. Bids were probably started very high because the average CPC is 21 cents. So that means the bids were at least 21 cents. Because those are generic keywords, so we should use one of the three formulas. Payout divided by 150 plus 1 cent, or payout divided by 250 plus 1 cent, or payout divided by 350 plus 1 cent. And also he was using one of the platinum campaigns in the platinum members area. So the first mistake was that the bids are just too high. In the platinum members area, I recommended that the bid should be 7 cents. But he was bidding at least 21 cents. But looking at the custom bids for those keywords were 65 cents, 40 cents, 65 cents. This is just way too high. So he spent out like 91 clicks and spent almost $20. He was like, okay, I'm losing money. What am I doing wrong? It's very clear that he was not following the course. So that's the first mistake. He was not bidding appropriately, following the course. Number two, let's look at the traffic patterns. The campaign has only run for, started running a little bit for 60 impressions on February 12th, then 13th, 14th, 15th. Then on the 16th, like, okay, this campaign is not working. I'm going to pause this campaign. Do you see the pattern here? In the course, I mentioned that PPC is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You need to ask that the campaign run its course. When you first create a campaign, Bing Ads is going to assign a default CTR or click-through rate to your ads. Let's assume it's maybe 0.5%, right? As your campaign runs, and Bing Ads is going to find out the actual CTR for your ads, right? If you follow the course, then you should be able to outcompete most of your competitors, if not 100% of them. So your CTR, your ad positions should improve, and your CTRs should increase as time goes by. So if you look at this campaign essentially did not have enough time to run its course. It's only been like 3 or 4 days. So it just was paused way too early, right? So that mistake number two. The campaign was paused too early before it ran its course. If you look at a pattern here, so here I'm looking at the impressions in those 3 or 4 days. And if you look at the click-through rate, you can see here actually the click-through rate was going up, right? Obviously the first day is no clicks, then second day 4.72%, then 3.9%, then went up to 6.7%. If the member had set up the bids correctly and that campaign run its course, most likely the average CTR will continue to improve. But because you paused the campaign too early, you never get to realize its potential. Another way to look at this is look at the average ad position. Do you see the pattern here? The average ad position is clearly improving every single day, right? First is 5.88, then is 4.99, then it's 4.39, then it's 2.98. if he had continued to let this campaign run, the average ad position would continue to improve. So basically, Bing Ads was finding out that his ads were performing better than his competitors. That's why the average ad position was improving. So again, the campaign was paused too early and did not realize its full potential. Now let's look at Ads tab. So what else was he not doing following the course? He only created one ad. As I mentioned in the course, you should always create at least 2 ads so they can compete with each other. Then you pick the winner, then create a third ad based on the winning ad. But that was not done in this campaign. In addition, the tracking was also not set up. As I mentioned in the course, if you are bidding on generic keywords, it is important that you set up tracking so that you know what keywords are converted, right? The tracking was not set up, so you would have no way to find out what keywords are converted. Each one of these mistakes could be fatal, right? But based on what we have seen, there are these 4 mistakes that were made in this campaign. So how can you expect this campaign to be successful? PPC is challenging, but as long as you closely follow the course, the chances of your campaign succeeding are very, very high. So please do not jump into creating campaigns. Study the course a few times before you do that. All you have to do is really just avoid those mistakes, and you will be better than 99% of people who started doing PPC. So that's today's class. Hopefully you learned something new here, something useful. I will see you soon. Thanks.